Today I'm going to talk about an anime called The Helpful Fox. Confused Nakano Kurata is a man who works in the city and is like most people. One day he has finished his work for the day and is about to go home when a coworker comes up to him and asks for his help, even though he already wants to go home. He agrees. Meanwhile, in the spirit world, three women who look like foxes are looking at a middle-aged man seems to be overworked and stressed out by his difficult work task, so he gives off a negative aura that is dark and suffocating. So one of the fox girls, a demi-fox named Kinko, who was 18 years old, promises to take care of him as much as she wants. After another hard night of working too much, Kurode comes home to find Sancho making him dinner, which is a big surprise to him, even though he tried to get rid of her because he was afraid of getting in trouble for having her there. Sancho properly introduced herself and told him that it was her job to take care of him. After he agrees, she makes him tea, which make him think of when he was younger and happier. This makes his dark aura fade. The next morning when Corona wakes up, he thinks that everything that happened last night was just a dream, but he soon finds out that wasn't the case and that Sancho was still there. When Sancho realizes he's almost late for work, he sees the same murky aura from last night and tells him to stay for breakfast. Then, while Karade is at work, Sancho tidies the apartment. When Karade gets home from work, he's happy to know that he's being well cared for. She then cleans his ears for him, which puts him to sleep and makes his dream that he's spending time with Sancho. When he wakes up, he asks her if they didn't meet before, but she can't remember when he wanted to scratch behind her ears. She lets him do it, but Karade slips his finger into the canal area. Out of curiosity, Sancho screams so loudly that their neighbor comes running out of her apartment. As a way of saying thank you for all she's done for him, he invites Sancho to sleep in the bed with him, so she won't have to sleep on the floor anymore. Corona and Sancho played a video game, and Corona wants the wagers to touch Sancho's tail. She makes a lot of noise as she spirits around trying to avoid karate. The night boring manga artist Koji has had enough of the obtrusive noises and harasses over to open the door, and other people within to be quiet. She misunderstands why Karade is doing with Sancho after seeing it, but she still chooses to leave since she feels it was inappropriate for her to interfere so abruptly. As the awkwardness passes, Sancho gets an idea and apologizes for making noises. When Karade touched Sancho first by giving Koji food, Sancho's ears and tail are knotted as she presents herself as their neighbor. This leads Koji to believe that Sancho enjoys cosplay because of a show she watched where a similar fox like female engage in combat with a pure bear while holding a camera. Karade instructed Sancho to wear something to cover her ears and tail before the two of them headed to a shop later that evening to buy food. Karade began to feel less lonely going shopping alone. On the walk back to the apartment, because Sancho was there, Corrado returns to his apartment, exhausted once more, only to learn that he must work on Sunday. Sancho threatened to wake him up for work and used her tail to force him to stay in bed. The next day, Corrado got up to go to work, so he stayed in bed longer than usual. Corrado gets up around dinner time and is disappointed that he's sleeping. However, when Sancho surprises him by cooking with foxfire, he quickly changes his tune. He shows up to work the next day in the pouring rain. Before he leaves, he explains the inner workings of various electronic devices to Sancho so that she can use less magic in her daily life. She finishes up by doing some light cleaning of the apartment. She felt chilly and went to switch off the air conditioner, but the television had already started. Sancho became confused and attempted to shut down the system. When Koji tried to come over to see what's going on, the apartment's breaker tripped and she lost power. When Karado returns that evening, he finds everything off and a terrified sinkhole, vowing never to use technology again. Yatsura, Sancho's mentor, and Shiro, his demi-fox friend, are watching from the spirit world. Disappointed with the result, Shiro vows to visit the real world and lavish attention on Karado. Karado returns to his apartment to discover Shiro, another fox demigod already residing there. Shiro soon becomes aware of his fixation on her tail. In effort to steal the show from Sancho, she consents to his head. Touching the plan succeeded, as Sancho became envious and desired to be petted as well. Using her foxfire abilities, Shiro discovers that Karado's true desire is to to touch her tail, leading her to conclude that Sancho was failing as a caretaker. Shiro runs away from him after getting scared, entering Kole's apartment through a secret passage in the wall. Shiro tells Koji he is sorry and leaves. To Koji's surprises, she believes that she is hallucinated due to lack of sleep. She and Kolo makes grotto about the following day. Her hope is that by sharing a bath with him, she can help ease his pain while watching her back. He notices that her tail appears wet, which makes him sad. After getting out of the tub, he notices that Sancho's tail was back to normal, and he felt the urge to pet it once more. Shiro spends that night outside, keeping an eye on the pair. Shiro attempts to continue spoiling karate, but she winds up in Koing's place by mistake. She assumes she is hallucinated once more, so she goes to bed. When Shiro visits her neighbors, thinking they have a night chat on his day off, Shiro discovers Karado napping and invites him to a game. Shiro decides to switch video games because she found the current one too easy. Karado suggests they take a break so that he can make them some tea and a snake. After learning that Shiro was using her mind-reading abilities to predict his moves in video games, Karado decides to call it a day and head home after noticing Shiro's prowess. It was the front door where cuts the apartment that she almost bypassed. Sancho apologized to Koji for Shiro's presence by stopping. By the next day, with food and a visit, the realization dawns on Koji that she wasn't experiencing a hallucination in a real life. Koji had Kino's cosplay as a maid because she helps out around the apartment. When Karado returned home that evening, Sancho was still dressed in the getup. Karado, noticing the outfit, remarked that he was fond of Sancho's older friends. Shiro, now a spirit, wonders what's up with Sancho's maid uniform, sub from the day's work. Karado asked Sancho to message his back while they ate dinner together. Sancho was relieved to find that the message had removed Karado's gloomy energy. After that, they switched roles, and Coronado messaged Sancho. However, he brushed his hand against her forehead near the base of her tail, and she didn't like it. Sancho responds by trying to tickle him in retaliation. While in the afterlife, Shiro keeps an eye on them and wonders how they are connected. Coronado dreamed about Sancho the night before, and in the dream, they were eaten by a tree stump. While Koji and Sancho empty the trash, he heads to the office. In the workplace, Karado was once again overburdened by a request for assistance from a coworker. Karado misses his train and encounters Shiro on his way home. A shortcut back to the house is what she offers in exchange for some sustenance. Shiro, on her way back through the portal she opened, asks Sancho why he's helping Karado and implies that she may be remember her former master in the process. When Sancho returns home, he tells Karado that he noticed a different scent of her because Shiro was nervy. Karado is currently enjoying his time off during the summer in Japan. When Sancho inquired as to the length of his summer vacation, he explained that it lasted for a whole day. Suddenly Shiro appears and leads them to the beach, where they meet Koji. While Koji was napping, Shiro surprised her and brought her inside. Shiro brought her alone, which Sancho sees as a gamble, while Nakano and Sancho lounge under the umbrella. Shiro and Koji splashed around in the water. How well connected are Shiro and Koji? He probed Sancho. When asked why they did together, Sancho mentioned playing video games. When Sancho's back finally gave out, they stopped playing volleyball. While Karado went in search of food, Koji rummaged through her bag and pulled out the grill. He found someone living in a shack and asked for food. She gave it to him rough. Despite Coronado's best effort, she runs away after telling him he was talking to a ghost. Despite his sincere gratitude, after Corrado had returned, they sat down to a meal. Sancho sets off Foxfire fireworks every night. Koji noticed a change in the fireworks' appearance, but she reassured her that it was normal. Corrado was engrossed in a cooking show on TV and suddenly had a craving for gratin. However, he hastily heads off to work, while Sancho stays at home to finish the show. She questioned Koji on what it was that Nakano was craving, and Shiro expressed interest in pitching in the kitchen. They make the gratin at Shiro. Koji and Senko making them devour it. Senko serves the gratin to Nakano after dinner. He detects a new element, but the food still has the familiar flavor of Sencho's preparation. Koji enjoyed Shiro's sweet ramen, so she fed him. However, she believes there was culinary sense to be lacking. Nakano, his hair was getting long, so the next day Cinco offered to help him get a haircut. He realizes that Cinco is giving him a mommy-style haircut to clean the Kino's hair. They both hop in the tub. Cinco was asked if this was her first time cutting hair. Cinco said in response that she had not made any blunders. It has begun to snow outside. Cinco, opening the blinds, woke up Gerudo, who had to go to work. Regardless of the snowfall, the only thing that stopped Cinco from stopping him from leaving was a text message on his phone. They made snowballs and threw them around the apartment complex as they walked. Once awake, Koji discovered Cinco crafting a snowball. As the temperature drops, she decides to return inside. After that, Sino and Corona went back to bed, but Sancho's back was hurting again. Upon Coronado's request, Sancho touched her tail, but the sensation was unpleasant. Sometime later, Sancho expressed interest in preparing dinner, while Grotto expressed a desire to once again pet her tail. She had just gotten up to start dinner when Yusura showed up to surprise everyone. Yatsura is jealous of Coronado's tail, so we decide to spoil her. She took off after being taken aback by him. Cinco gushed to Kuroto about Ezra's good looks, and he picked it up on Coronado's jealous. The next night, Sancho considered not making him dinner. Sancho has a flashback to Corona's childhood, and she cleans the apartment and sees a bento box with a flower design. Sancho realizes Coronado is having a rough day at the office and decides to serve a special meal to brighten his spirits. Meanwhile, Shiro is still upset that it has been a whole year since Sancho helped Coronado from the spirit world. As a result, Erza assures her that she won't have to wait long to enjoy Corona's undivided attention. Corona's mother calls him after dinner to tell him that he must immediately visit the hospital because his father has been seriously injured. Coronado is encouraged by Cinco to visit his family and even lend her his phone so that they can stay in touch. He visits his parents and learns that his dad is fine. In this location, he pays his respect and his grandmother's grave and thinks back on his time spent with Sancho. He tries calling her to inform her, but she doesn't pick up. After 5 days away, Corrado returns to his apartment and discovers that Cinco has vanished without picking up his phone. She says Sancho leaving with bags, but it was odd. She goes to see Koji, who tells him about it. She also mentions Shiro's absence, saying that the two of them had been anticipating the final Yuko episode with great anticipation. The year has passed, and although Guerrero's Arova mood remains dark and gloomy, usually in the spirit world assures Cinco that she need not return. Cinco remembers how his ancestor helped her when she was in trouble. While Coronado searches for her, J0 points out that humans only have a finite amount of time on Earth, predicted that she will experience heartbreak with Coronado once again. No matter what happens, Cinco promises to keep spoiling him by coming back to spend time with him as the cherry blossoms. However, Cinco does not share the details or her experience in the afterlife when Coronado expresses gratitude to Cinco for things that happened to him as a child. Cinco looks perplexed, but explains that she treats him well simply because she wants to. Shiro and Koji comes over, and there we go, the last episode of Little Yuko. That's all for now. Like and subscribe for more.